Okay, it's Craig here again, guys. It's been about a week now since I've resealed this possessed Poulan. In the last video I was talking whether or not I was going to do it with the Black Optima Permatex RTV. I don't even have it laying here. To be honest with you, I don't even know what I've done with it. Or if I was going to reseal it with the 1184 3-bomb. I decided to go on ahead and reseal it with the Optima Black Permatex, even though it said it shouldn't be used when it was in contact with gasoline. So I sat and thought about it a little bit, and my interpretation of in contact with gasoline was continuous, not the intermittent type contact that you would have as the air fuel mixture is being swished around the inside of the crankcase, and you've actually got separation between where the seal would actually be and where the gas would be able to get into it. And if you can tell, this is the original cylinder off of this saw. They use some kind of a black sealer on it also, and I don't know if that would be the Optima Black or if it's something else. I don't know what Poulan uses as a factory sealant, but between this and my determination of what contact actually means, I decided to go on ahead and use the Optima Black. If nothing else, it's going to be a good test bed. We'll find out if it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll tear it back apart again. I'll reseal it with the 1184, and we'll go from there. So it's been sitting for 4 or 5 days since I've resealed it. So now we are going to do the initial pressure vacuum test. What I've got is the intake manifold is on the saw, and I don't know if you can see it. I think you can, but in behind of it I've got some rubber, and also the same thing over here on the exhaust. I'm just using the muffler as a plate to pull the rubber up against the exhaust outlet to seal it off. And on the top I just got a brass fitting with a barbed nipple on it and some Teflon tape to seal the threads, and the rest of it ought to be sealed. Looks like all the way around. Maybe a little light right there, not quite as much push out. Other than that, looks like all the way around I've got some push out. So let's get to it. Let's see what we've got. I've not messed with it, so I don't know what we're going to get. This will be just as interesting for me as it will be for you guys. So we're going to do pressure first, and I'm going to run it up to roughly about 10 pounds. Well, that's interesting. It's going up. We've also got some leakage there somewhere. It's going down. Hopefully it's just around the threads on the barb there. So what I'll do, dump the pressure here. This is nothing more than just soapy water. Put a little bit of soap around that. Just go clear around it. Get around the muffler here. Everywhere that it could leak. Looks like I've already got some bubbles forming around there. So that's a good sign. It's coming from around the spark plug hole threads. So we'll pump this thing back up to about 10 pounds again. Let it bleed back off. You can actually see there's quite a few bubbles come up right there already. Everything else seems to be holding good. especially around the clamshell. We're still at about 5 pounds. See all the bubbles? There's where my leak is. So I won't be able to do a vac test with that leaking like that, so what I'll do is I'll take that off and put a little more Teflon tape on it, see if I can't seal that up a little bit better. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I'm not going to bore you guys with putting Teflon tape on something. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Changed my mind. Instead of using Teflon tape, I used black electrical tape. I figured that was a little bit thicker. That would help seal it a little bit better. So let's see what we've got now. And again, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to do pressure first. So let's see what we get. I'll run it up to about 10 pounds. It looks like it's holding now. Right there's 10 pounds. And it's leaking off just a little bit. I'd still say it's probably coming from right around there. Well, maybe not. So let's check the seals. We're good there. We're good along the front side of the case of the clamshell. Good along that side. We're down to about 5 pounds, so I'll get it back up to 10. About 8 pounds there. Back up to 10. I don't see nothing bubbling up. Let's try around the exhaust here. Well, it ought to be coming from somewhere. Right there. There's the bubbles forming right there. There's where my pressure leak is. Right there where the hose goes onto the barb. £10. I left the sell sticker, the price sticker on the barb. I just pushed it on a little bit farther. Looks like it might have solved the problem. Still leaking off just a little bit, but not much. I can't turn it. Let me grab the clutch here. Spin the clutch on so I have something to turn it with. I like to spin the crank. I hope that this will show up in the video. I hope that you'll be able to see this. Let me zoom down on the gauge there so that you can see it as I crank the engine over. Look at that. That's going to have one heck of a pulse. signal to it. That's going, taking it from about 3 pounds, 4 pounds, clear up to about 14 pounds. So it's got about a 10-pound differential. And again, there's no leaks on it that I can see. I don't know. Well, I'm going to have to hit that clutch. Let me zoom you back out. I forgot I had you zoomed in here. There's no leaks around the seals, even when I was turning the engine over. And that's one reason I like to turn it over, to simulate it running, to check for leaks. I'd still say that my leakage is probably right there where the hose goes on. Even though it's not bubbling. There's nothing else that's bubbling, so it's leaking somewhere. But I don't believe it's around the crankcase or around the seals. Got some real fine bubbles down in here, so it still could possibly be leaking around the black tape. That's the only thing that I really see. So I'm going to call this a pass on the pressure. So now we're going to go over to the vacuum side. Pull about 10 pounds of vacuum on it. Right there we go. That seems to be holding rather well. It's got a little bit of leakage to it. Not a whole lot. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Again, we've only lost about a pound, maybe 1.25 pounds in, I don't know, a minute. And again, I still say it's right here where that price sticker's on that barb. The only other leakage that I see is, like I said, right here around where the barb goes into the threads for the spark plug. I don't see anything anywhere else. So I'm going to call this engine assembly good to go. So I'll get her mounted, and I might show you some other little steps along the way, but if I decide not to show anything, I'll see you back on when it's complete and for the first startup. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay. And y'all probably wonder why I call this little damn thing the possessed Poulan. I want you to see what's going on now. You're not going to believe this. I didn't catch it, and probably nobody else caught it either in the last videos. So I'm ready to set the engine assembly into the chassis. And of course the carburetor comes to the back. What do we see? Let me zoom in here. See it? Flywheel side, clutch side, intake, exhaust. When I put this freaking thing back together, I failed to pay attention. And I've got the crankshaft installed into the block 180 degrees out of where it should be. I've got the PTO side in the engine block in orientation to where when it sets in, it's on the flywheel side. So once again, I'm going to have to split the clam, clean it all up, turn the crankshaft around, reseal it, and start all over. This saw just does not want to run. That might be a sign. I should just throw it in the trash right now and forget about it. But I'm about $40 into it now. The damn thing's going to run. Come hell or high water, it's going to run. Even if it's just for a minute or two, it's going to run. Okay. See you in the next video. I'll let you know how this comes out.